Southern Fried Podcast News Desk, conservative and Christian news brought to you each Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be covering news that affects America and you. From politics nationally and to the state level, we will discuss topics that are breaking each week and get your input as well. Join us each week for news from a conservative and Christian outlook. God bless America and God bless you. This is David the AM with the Southern Fried Podcast. We are now an affiliate of Podbean. Podbean is an audio platform which helps you get your voice out there. You can go online and go live from your very phone that you use. You don't have to have a lot of special equipment. It's nice to have a studio, but it's expensive. You can do those things from your phone. Hey, I was a listener of Podbean before I even became a podcaster. Maybe you've thought about being one. There was a time when I didn't think about being a podcaster, but think about it. You've got things to share. It could be as simple as baking, or it could be working on a car. The stories are endless that you could come up with to be a podcaster. And there are people out there that want to listen and to your stories and to your shows. And we're thankful for all those that watch and listen to us. Podbean is now an affiliate of the Southern Fried Podcast. Unless you're a business plan, that would be the bottom one. The one on top, use that. You'll get discounts. And also the Southern Fried Podcast benefits in this as well. I love Podbean. They also help launch out to many other audio sites. This saves me time. Time is precious. Time to be on the podcast. Time for research. Time to be with family. And yes, time to work. Yes, we still work out there in the workforce. So become a podcaster. Use Podbean. And when you use these links, one of them, you will save money and you'll also help the Southern Fried Podcast. Thanks so much for all your support. Take care. We'll see you soon. Hey folks, Dave in the AM here with the Southern Fried Podcast and the Cornbread Nation. For many weeks now, me and Rob have been telling you about our affiliation with Dubby Energy Drinks. I've been drinking some of them on the show, and I just got in today the powder version, and this is the Palm Blom version of this. And hey, I tell you that it gives you the focus and the energy without the jitters or the crash. There's no sugars, no fillers, no artificial dyes. So get you some Dubby today. Use the promo code Southern Fried, and you'll get 10% off each and every order. Not only can you get the energy drinks, but you can also get some cool merch items. In fact, soon we're going to have a hat to show you as an example of some of those things. There's shirts and other things you can get as well as containers to mix up the powder and the water into that you can carry with you. We appreciate your support of the Southern Fried Podcast and also of Dubby Energy Drinks. We'll see you again soon. Take care. And here we are. A little crazy intro. I had a little bit of trouble with Instagram, but we had to fix that on the fly, so I had to run a couple of quick commercials. I tried to come in with one anyway, just to give people time to filter in. But wow, I was fixing streams. I had to update the password on one, fixed it, but I was ready to go. And for some reason, Instagram says, "Oh, you're having trouble." So I had to delete it and reset it. So it takes just a minute to do those things and get it back up. But hey, we're here, and here is good. It's been an interesting day. I mean, wow, it has been an interesting day. Weird stuff. Started out great, was in here. Well, we had some issues this morning with the podcast, but that was because we're doing work in the studio, and we got some things done. Still a ways to go, but things are looking up. And we've got a lot done today. There's a lot more to do. I think they're going to come back after I get off the air and work on it. They're night owls. They work third shift, so they're going to come in and do a little bit of work on the studio. But we're getting ready. We're getting really ready for the real kickoff to it and some different equipment. But we've been working on that. But I went to church, had a great time. I went to go pick up my girl from her family up in about an hour away, coming back and broke down. And, I didn't know it, but the family had trouble recently. The car is not sending the correct gasoline level. I didn't know that. I think she had said you better get gas, but she didn't say that they had ran out. So I didn't have a gas light, but I sure ran out of gas. So we had to call in for some help. And that delayed us a lot. We missed church tonight, but we're here and we're on with the SFP News Desk. It has been a pretty good weekend. Beautiful weather, beautiful day, a lot of news as always. And as my good friend on Rumble, Killer Carl, says, day two of the tariff wars. Day two of the tariff wars. This is going to roll into Monday, and the president says that the pain will be worth the price. I have no doubt about that because there's no way that Canada and Mexico are going to be able to outlast us on this. So there may be some items that you see a bump in as tariffs go into place as they've applied their tariffs back. This is going to hurt them far more than it ever hurt us. So I see this getting handled. They're rattling them sabers again. Again, like I said on a MAGA Minute last week, if you're going to rattle the sabers, you better bring the bigger saber, and they still don't have it. You lose once again. Oh, and I love that the Mexican leader said that he's ready to bring all his people home. Hey, welcome home. We got a whole bunch to send you. We're glad you're welcoming them home. So tariff war. So we'll see how that goes. This is going to roll into to Monday, but 25% on Canada and Mexico, 10% on China. We'll just have to see how it goes. There's certain things that's going to bump up in price. Most likely, we've already got some of those things. We don't need them right away. And if we do, we do. It's okay. Not going to be a problem for the United States. We're going to be able to, this has happened before. It's not a. I was watching Charles Payne, I think it was on Fox, and or he's on Fox, but he was actually on the Mark Levine show, and he was talking about how these had been done before. But he did say that the president, that is, did say that it would be some pain for Americans. So I just don't think it's going to be that big a deal. My goodness, we're already being gouged as it is. But you missed what I said about the gas. Well, I said I wasn't going to cover it, but you know what? So I'll go ahead and cover it because it's really kind of comical in a crazy kind of way. Went to go get the granddaughter up in Decatur, Tennessee. Had a great trip up after church. I'm headed back. All of a sudden, I'm break down. And I said, "Oh no, what's going on with the car?" And I called my sons. And in the middle of this, they go, "Oh, I bet you've run out of gas." I said, "What do you mean I've ran out of gas?" I see there's mine has the bars on it. Different cars have different things. I said, "I have two bars." I was going to stop. The gas is a little bit higher sometimes in Decatur. I was going to get on down 58 and get some cheaper gas. And so she said, my wife said, "Well, you're out of gas." So I said, "Here." She said, "Well, I told you to get gas." I said, "But you didn't tell me why I needed to get gas." And my son says, "Oh, you're out of gas." Why? Well, he said, "This happened to me the other day." Said, "I ran out of gas, but the car is saying it has gas." I said, "Oh, and who informed me of this problem?" "Well, we forgot. We didn't expect you to take the car. We thought you would take the truck," which I had a full tank of gas in the truck. So anyway, we sit for over an hour and waiting on my. Well, it was by the time they got there because we were sitting there for a while, but they came that way. Well, I have a gas can at home. Well, they ran off and forgot to get the gas can. They're in a hurry to get to us, which I appreciate. So they're started on the way. So I was talking to them on the way. They said, "Where are you?" And I said, they told me, he said, "Well, we're going to have to figure out where we're going to get, where do you want us to get gas?" I said, "Stop now. I mean, don't go any further. You're going to run into farmland and you're not going to get any gas. So get gas now." They said, "Well, we're going to have to figure something out. We don't have the gas can." I'm like, this can't be happening. It can't be happening. So, uh, we talk about redneck destinations. I feel like I fell into it. So they said, "Okay, we got it. No problem." So we wait. Family pulls up, my boys and other grandkids. rescue, feel like Superman's here. My son just steps out of the car, my baby boy, and he has a 2 liter bottle full of gas. what, what the heck is this? Well, I didn't. He didn't get the gas can, and I said, I told you to stop and get one. They said, well, the store we stopped at, we didn't think they had one because it was, one of those little small localized stores. And he said, so this is the best we have. So I said, just get it in there. We'll get down there and get some gas. He puts it in there, cranks it up, and he says, it's not going to be enough. We're going to need a little more. So I said, let me go. So I ran with my other son down the road, bought the can, got the gas, come back and put the gas in. And this ordeal, see, we left home probably about 1:15, and I think we got home. It was already going on 6 o'clock. So, and we didn't stay long in Decatur. We really didn't. Just time enough to give out a birthday gift and see the little baby boy, the youngest grandchild. And so it was an afternoon. It was one of those things where you're like, this can't be happening. This just cannot be happening. But I was like, really? I feel like one of our shows. Like we've showed up in a Cornbread Nation redneck destination, and you've stepped out with a 2 liter um, full of gas. I'm like, I can't even believe they let you do that. But whatever. It's Oh, and then we get to the gas station. They have a gas can. I see it there. Of course, I got ripped. I mean, at this point, I don't care, whatever it costs. So I go over to get gas in it, and the thing's not working right, the gas pump. And I'm like, what's going on here? It's not giving me any options. And so try to pull my card back out of the gas pump, and it won't let it go. And I'm like, what's this? And the guy comes out of the little booth. He comes over and he goes, oh, we're having trouble with that one. you just know it's not your day. And then we finally get all that. My son pulls out, and he's not paying attention. And so I hollered at him to stop. So he does, but he gets all mad. He says I was hollering at him. I said, you dang Skippy. I would rather holler at you and save our lives than us get hit and you get your feelings be okay. So, yes, gas can, never leave home without it. Yeah, they. I don't know what I knew it was going to be bad when you talk about gas cans. And you're out like that. It actually was a food city. That's a food city that has its own gas. We don't have one here, but they have one up that way. So right there is like it was like, yeah, they know you're gonna have this happen. So they've got 2 different size gas cans right there in front where you pay to walk up to buy something or pay with cash or whatever it is. And so I look at the price, the small one, which is I guess it's like a 2 gallon can. It's $20. The guy says, do you have one of our cards? I said, well, my wife does. Let me give you her number. He said, yeah, I thought I might save you just a little bit of money because he knows I'm getting ripped. So it was an ordeal. I'm like, I can't believe this has happened. And my granddaughter we had picked up, she was most restless, and so that added to the aggravation. And so my son asked me if anybody stopped to help me, which I could have took get some gas, I guess. I said, no, nobody stopped. And so while we were gone, though, we weren't gone long. 2 people stopped. My day, right? So that's the story of the gas. Baby boy and older son, or my oldest son, they come and rescue me with 2 of the grandchildren. So we made it home. I was just glad there wasn't something else wrong with the car. They're like, you ran out of gas. I'm like, no, I think it's worse than that. No, you ran out of gas. So we're going to have to get that looked at. So it's not that old of a car, and it doesn't have that many miles on it. But things can go bad at any time. But um, I'm glad I'm here. I missed church. I called my one of my preachers like, I don't think I'm going to make it. If I make it, I'll make it. He said, we got you. So they were checking on me after church. But everybody has one of those days, where it's like, oh, and I was thinking, they're, I was thinking, they're grown. I don't need to call them and remind them of stuff. And I was like, I thought I should call and remind them about the gas can. Well, I should have. They done took off. They hopped in the car. They were down the road. Oh, we didn't get the gas can. Never fear. 2 liter is here. I was like, I wonder how much. And then he's like, this ain't gonna. I can't get it in there. You got the little flap to open. We figured that out though. But anyway, I'm glad I made it. So something for us to laugh about. Because my granddaughter goes, "Oh, you've got a great story for the podcast." I'm like, I'm not sharing this story. But when he shows up with the 2 liter, I'm like, dadgummit, I guess I'm gonna have to. That's just too good not to. So I'll just tell the story. So Rob will give me a hard time tomorrow about it. That's okay. Yeah. So by the way, I mentioned Killer Carl, and he's a fellow podcaster on Rumble, and he's been coming in our lives. I don't think he's in here tonight, or at least he hasn't said anything. I did get to watch about 20 minutes of his Saturday Night Live. I really enjoyed it. Uh, he had some good heavy music going on that thing before he got going, but talking about tariffs and different things, and we're kind of in the same vein. We link up well, and so go give him a. He's got a lot of followers, but go give him a. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, I'm happy for him, but I'm saying he can always use another one, and you'll enjoy. He was soloing, as he said on his last night show. He usually has a couple of helpers, or at least one, like me and Rob. So, but go watch Killer Carl. He's really hitting the ground running with a lot of these news stories that are popping really fast, and you really have to be fast. There's so much going on. By the way, I want to say, and as far as news, and it is news. Um, After 5 years, 5 stinking years, it's just so amazing. The wheels of justice um, turn so slow, and I don't know if any of you have remember the story of the little. There's been there's still one missing from up in the Tennessee area, maybe two I know of, big cases. But remember I think her little Evelyn Boswell, was that the name? Um, was found, and the mom's been in the local jail all this time. 5 years. This thing has been going slowly. This week that trial starts. Um, and she lost her lawyer once. I mean, they switched. So there was all this, the new lawyers getting all the evidence, going through it, and they just kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and giving continuances and different things that are going on. But after 5 years, that trial starts. I don't know if it's Monday, maybe jury selection Monday. I don't know, but sometime this week that trial will start. And that was just a horrible case. The child was found in a shed after the mom lies to the TV, obviously, and stands out there. I don't know what happened to she's missing. Said her mom took the baby, if you remember this case. And the whole family's shady. I mean, the whole family is shady. I mean, it's just one of those things. But that little girl, precious, and I'll pray for that. It's just, you want to see justice done. And we'll let the wheels of justice, slow as they may be, play out. And she'll have her day in court. And that's this week. 5 years, I can't believe it. And along that line, Summer Wells is still missing. That's been going on for, my goodness, 3 years now, or right at 3 years, or maybe, I'm not sure, 2 or 3 years for sure. She's still missing. Nobody knows where that child is. So, as far as news, when I think about news, think about something a little more regional. In fact, I need to get it from work and bring it to the studio. I have a coffee mug that has the missing information on it, and a picture of Summer Wells as she was at the time she went missing. And we need to do it again. In fact, soon. Me and my granddaughter, she loved purple, and a lot of people were putting purple porch lights. And me and my granddaughter, sometimes we bought some, and we would turn on a purple light just to remember her. It's sad. Nobody knows. There's theories, but nobody knows, from the FBI to TBI to nobody. I mean, there's somebody knows. God knows, and somebody knows who did it. But whether she's deceased or living, I mean, nobody knows. The assumption is that she is. she's deceased, but there's just no hard evidence to suggest who, what, when, where, and have no body. And if she is alive, it's just a mystery. It's a great mystery. And again, a lot of shady people involved, and they've been on some national TV on this one. Dr. Phil was they were on Dr. Phil with this case, and it's something that's been on my mind to kind of bring up. It won't be tonight, but I do this week. I would look for a show that I'm gonna dive back into these two cases a little bit. I don't do true crime or something, but news as far as news and talking about kind of some updates on where those cases stand. The one will be starting again, like I said, this week, and then pray for the, to whatever any leads. Please get those to the TBI there. And that it's just sad. It's just really, really sad. And I know there's a lot of kids missing, adults missing. There's cold cases. There's one in my area that goes back a long way, and well, actually two cold cases that I know of. There may be more. One involving a young man, one involving a young girl. Theories about who did it. Bodies where these cases were found. These go back many, many, many years, but the cold cases. And sometimes actually, there is a third one. There's a third one involving an older gentleman, not very old, but, adultish, middle, 30s, 40s, was murdered, and nobody that in front of his business. And so there's three that I know of just in our area, and I'm probably missing some cold cases, but we don't normally do that. But I have an interest in it, and it's something that I want to jump into a little bit, probably this week. Don't forget, this week as well, we'll have another edition of the one, the only Cornbread Nation, and very, very soon we'll be introducing a new character called George Bubba, and he will be a tag team partner for Uncle Jeb. So I would look for that in the next couple of weeks. That hopefully will happen. Been trying to wait till the studio gets finished. We've got some things to set up for this, but we get ready for it. We'll do it. We enjoy it. We can't wait. But we got to get everybody healthy. A lot of people are not healthy going on this side of town in South Georgia, and I just need to get them all healthy and better than they were. I think they're okay. Just need to get back together. But yeah, let's just jump back in the news. Okay. The president is very firm on the tariffs. He's not going to change his mind. I'm not thinking he should either. But he is going to follow through on this. He had ran on this. This was something that he had talked about, and investors will get a little, iffy about it. But the Mexico and Canada has much more to lose than the United States of America, and so they will not. This won't go on too far, I really believe. In fact, Trump says that Canada is not a viable country without U.S. subsidy. I seen somebody post today, and I sometimes these can sound like a little smart alecky, like, well, if you don't like the country, leave. But and I get that, but somebody said something today that it really struck a nerve with me, like a chord or whatever you want to say. Is they said, listen, if you're more concerned and upset over other countries and what they don't get than you are for the country that you live in, then maybe think about moving to those countries, and if you're that concerned about them, go there and be a supporter of them. And that may be harsh, but I get what they were saying and what they said at the end of their post was it's time for us to take care of our country, and I agree with it that way. We're not being evil, and we're not being uncaring. I mean, there are people out there think you should give everything you have to somebody, but it's because there's a need. Well, you have to pay your bills. You have to buy food. You have to pay your electric, your water, and all that, and that takes money. And so you do those things. And so our country has responsibilities as well. And we must, I think our country's been more than compassionate when we think about all that they've done for, countries around the world. And we continue to do those things. So, I just think it's important that we take care of ourselves. We got people struggling here, and a lot of the problems that we have, and we've talked about this, is where the money has went is not went to the people it was intended to go help in a large way anyway. Now, in some cases, it has. I can think of the mosquito netting and stuff in Africa. I think about you know things that they've done to help with food and stuff. A lot of that stuff has arrived at its destination, but a lot of it has not, and especially the accounting. And oh, by the way, Elon has finally gotten access with Doge into the pay, the payouts, the payroll, the checking account, we might say, for the country, and what we've been paying. And I think the news is already that it's a lot of fraud. There's a lot of things that can't be tracked, and we'll just have to see where that goes. I don't think that's a shock to anybody, but the question would be, how far does it go? Who all's involved, and who got payouts? I guarantee you, there's no good, clear record keeping of what's went to Gaza. There's no good, clear record keeping of what's went to Ukraine, and you could probably say this for many, many other areas. And let's just let's have some transparency. Let's just see what's going on with this, and get our country fiscally responsible. And we're totally not being fiscally responsible right now, and hence the debt that we have, which is teetering us on financial collapses, which nobody wants. Uh, News Week says, or Newsmax, excuse me, that looming tariffs worry Wall Street. Well, Wall Street worries about everything anyway. I mean, they're always worrying. Um, China shrugs off new Trump tariffs. Okay, you know. Um, so yeah, the tariffs is an ongoing. So tariff war. I'm going to take that from you, Killer Carl. I'm not taking it from you. I'm going to borrow it, if I may. I think I like that you said that. Tariff wars day 3, starting Monday morning, which is not that too many hours away, and we'll see where it goes. And this will be a week with more confirmation. The hearings will pick back up. There's still, there's not a clear what we call slam dunk on some of these. There is RFK Jr. is not a slam dunk. Can he get in? I think he can, but he just as easily could have a hard time seeing that confirmation go through. Tulsi Gabbard is another, and of course Cash Patel. I think Cash Patel is going to be okay, my opinion. But there's rumors that there are these votes are so narrow. If a Republican or two backs away, it could be devastating to the confirmations. So uh, I think if my opinion is, if you get RFK Jr., if he confirms, I think everybody else does. I think he's the linchpin on that. Once we got Pete Hegseth in, and I say we as a conservative, I was for that. Not that I have anything to do with it, but RFK Jr. There was some good back and forth. Fetterman was on Fox News Sunday, and when he was asked if he had reached a decision on whether he will vote for or against Kennedy, said he has spoken to those on both sides. Quote, it has been challenging for sure. Absolutely, it's certainly not a slam dunk for the nomination. Fetterman has said at times that he thought that he might, even though they weren't his first picks or even second or third, but that the president wanted them. He was willing to go that route and give him what he wanted, even though that was not his choice, to just keep things moving. But he's probably receiving, well, not probably, he's receiving a lot of pressure from his party, without doubt. Fetterman has met with Kennedy. This is from Newsmax. Has met with Kennedy twice in his office. Insisted that whatever his final decision ends up being, it will be, quote, an informed view, end quote. Quote, I've invested a lot of time to really understand his background and to learn more about the man. I approached with an open mind and I watched the hearing, and that's how the process works, end quote, he said. He goes on to say, quote, I've made an investment to really understand and to talk to all the nominees, and I treated everyone with respect, and I took the time to listen, and that's been part of my commitment, end quote. This is a strange dynamic. You don't normally see someone who's been, Trump was at one point for sure a lifelong Democrat, and he has been, and he has made, statements that were not MAGA, and they're certainly not hardcore conservative. But he has shifted more that way. Obviously, when he was going middle of the road, independent, and the abuse that he received from the administration on getting Secret Service protection, and he had threats on his life, and some other things. He had moved towards Trump and endorsed him, and then here we are, and so we'll see what happens with that. But it's going to be a heavy hitting week with a lot of these as we go through, and so he's a tough one because I mean all of them are these are some of the most important ones. All of them have their place and all have importance. But when you think about all of the different things that his office has a part in, uh, and those are hot button issues when we talk about the things that get debated and a lot of times go to the Supreme Court. There's some really heavy hitting stuff there, and so um, Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana was saying he was quote struggling end quote with Kennedy's nomination, struggling. Your past, he goes on quote, your past of undermining confidence and I won't use the word because we'll get struck, and that's unfortunate, but I'm not going to say a word. With unfounded or misleading arguments concerns me, he said. So we'll just have to see where that goes. I'm being very careful with this conversation on this one because of obviously we don't want problems. So that's the world we live in. But we do enjoy where we stream to, and our listeners know what we're talking about. So um, going on to some other news. This popped back up in the news, and Marco Rubio and this caught my eye because he said Rubio tells Panama that China threatens canal and changes are needed. I don't know. It's amazing to me that it hasn't made more of a national with everything else that goes on. This goes back a ways too, a few months. The Chinese have been investing in Central and South America for a while now in their ports and really being ready. There's a lot of fear that they're going to try to own those ports, take them over, run them for them, basically, and that would limit our ability. They've also built libraries with hello chick. Uh, they've also built libraries which could many see because they want to tell their story. And some would say that's the story. So they're saturating the area with money, with information, we'll say it that way, and influence is growing in that region for sure. It has, and a lot of people probably didn't realize that they were involved in the Panama Canal as much as they are, or at least having some influence there. So it has caused some problems, and so we'll see where that goes. But I'm glad to see that Marco Rubio is making at least we need to have some discussions with that has to remain open. It has to remain feasible for us. You can't hurt. You don't want to see our people hurt our shipping and all that, paying a heavier price than other people. That's not fair. And the president is right on that. And I don't think we're going to be going down and sending in the 10th Armored Division and taking it back over. But I think that is to get their attention to say, you better watch your step. We're not going to put up with that. And so that's not to say that couldn't happen, but I don't think it will. So uh, the treaty that we have calls for permanent neutrality of the American built canal. So they just need to play ball, and if they're not, that's gonna cause them problems. I was in a stream uh, yesterday, and someone of Chinese descent who lives in the states now and asked me my opinion on China. So what I said is, hey, listen, I love people all over the world. People are people. It doesn't matter where they're from. I love people. Governments are another matter. I don't care for communism. I don't care for the leadership of China, the things that they've done. Why would I? I mean, it's something that is a grave threat, I think, to the peace and security of the earth, not just the United States of America. They're flexing they're building islands out there and trying to get people out of airspace that's not their right to do so, and or waterways. They've threatened Taiwan constantly. Those attacks have stepped up to the point that it's not only a question of if, it's really come down to a question of when. Do people think that that there's going to be an attack on on Taiwan? Excuse me. They've always said they will do it. So that's what I said is, listen, they have a very old, very historic, amazing culture. I mean, it's a massive, a massive place. Just think of all the different dialects that are spoken there, and the Chinese people are, I have nothing against them, but it'd be like saying the Russian people or anywhere else. People are people, unless they're mean or evil or whatever. They're people, and we love people. So, and Jesus loved all, and try to do that. And they were glad to know that what they responded with is they were glad to know that I didn't hate the people or anything like that. And I said, no, 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 I don't hate the people. I don't really hate anybody. I may not like some things. I may have a lot against what some people are doing, even in our own country. It doesn't mean I hate them. Hate is a heavy burden to carry around, but I may extremely dislike uh, the actions of some. So this is something to pay attention to. This is one of those. The president has some landmines in his path. I mean, one of them is the Middle East, no doubt the Middle East, and he's made some advances there, but it's tenuous. A lot could go wrong there at any moment. The Iranian threat and what they're doing in the region, that's a threat. The Ukraine, Russia, that's a that's a landmine for him. And China, and there's just different ones out there. So he's got a lot to navigate. We need to pray for him, absolutely. These are high stake negotiations that goes on sometimes. You gotta, the old song, the old Kenny Rogers, you gotta know when to fold them, all those things. You gotta know what you're doing. He reads people real well, and he's the big dog in the room, and he doesn't like war. He doesn't want to go to war, but he's it's just one of those things that everything has to play out the way it has to play out, and we have to be very careful with that. And the Chinese know this, and everybody else. So yeah, you gotta know when to hold them, and you gotta know when to fold them, chick. That's true. And there's a lot of broken-hearted poker players out there that they didn't learn the lesson, and they didn't know when to do that. And it's an art. You gotta know. Well, it's a little easier if you know you got the high ground. When the Colombian president is telling the United States president some things he's not going to do, or whatever, he holds the president. Trump holds all the cards. I'm not too worried about that. But when it comes to superpowers, there's listen. The Chinese have been the nation and the leadership there has been full out preparing, full out. And, that's why they didn't join no Paris Accords. That's why they haven't agreed to no pollution cutbacks or anything like that. They got factories up and running as they've got actually have an economy problem. I mean, they've had some problems, no doubt, but their war machine is building. I mean, they've been building aircraft carriers. They've been getting the most advanced fighters. Some say their advanced fighters are on the same level with ours. We'll see. I hope we don't have to see in war, but we'll see. But they have been expanding and having expansion ideas on their mind. They want to be the big dog in the world. There's no doubt about it. From sea to shining sea, or whatever you want to say, they want to be. Well, Chick, we said that. The president's even admitted it's a pain point. But you know what? We'll stand true to it, and we'll back off these two nations. They need us more than we need them. Although there's things that come from them. But you know what? What happens when you have something like that? People will figure out how to do it cheaper here. If you can come underneath that price, people that need some work done here in America, they need to get their factories going. Need a new product line. Hey, we'll just make it here. with with those kind of things happening, it'll be cheaper to do it. So I don't think that they want war with the USA either, Chick. I really don't. I mean, that's nobody really wants that, but they always push it as hard as they can to get their way. I mean, they've jammed our signals in our planes. You know, they know how we feel about Taiwan. They've run basically mock war games where they've flown over the country, totally surrounded with their navy. You know, they've ran people off of air islands and airspace and stuff, and tried to take over areas that are not theirs to take over. You know, they've done a lot of aggressive stances, we'll say. And let's see here. What are you saying here? We can't make it here without the factories for it. For the minerals, we have to start making more materials. Well, you know, we can do that. We can do that. Yes, they've jammed some signals on our planes, especially military airplanes. But yes, they've absolutely done that. And you know, they've been you know, obviously feeding into war machines around the world with help, intel, whatever, weapons, whatever as well. So yeah, there was a thing that many many years ago, and it talked about this is it was like a news article, and this goes back a long time ago, and on Africa, it was talking about how many wars were going on that continent at that one time. I mean, they were all over the continent, and the map I seen, excuse me, the map I seen was basically showing who the real players were. You had those people fighting on the nation on the continent, but who was behind it? Well, you had Russia, you had China, you had the United States, you had Britain. And I always said that Africa was the proving ground for the latest military weapons. That's what they were doing. Besides also trying to get their handle on, I mean, Africa is resource rich. That's why everybody wants it. I mean, the things that you can have there, the oil, the diamonds, the whatever else, it's just filled with resources that are worth a lot of money. But it was also a place where wars are constantly going on, and it's you know, it's like the puppet masters, including us, were, you know, directing these different parties in their battles, and that goes on till today. That still goes on. So, is that what happened in D.C.? Well, who knows? I really don't know what happened there. There's a lot of questions about that. I guess we'll just have to let the investigation play out, and let's hope that we get good, solid answers on that. Um, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's been said. I'm not sure that it can be backed up with facts yet, or have the receipts, as we say. But what did happen? Uh, was it completely an accident? Possibly it was. It was very much could be that. Was there more? You know, was there incompetence? Was there a failure, a breakdown in communication? Was it the breakdown in technology? Was it the human failure? All those and many more things could happen. Now, people are worried about the gas prices with that. Um, yeah. Well, you never know. It doesn't take much to. It could. It could. I mean, obviously, things that take energy. We've got to get those prices down. And, you know, that's the thing. I've never understood that. This has bothered me for decades. Why in the world? Somebody's lining their pockets, but why in the world did we ship oil across the world when we got it here? We come through the Strait of Hormuz, which is always dicey, weathering the storms and whatever else across the seas, letting the Arab nations, OPEC back in the day, set the price. Um, you know, why do we put ourselves through all that? And at any moment, when some little dictator raises up his little hand and says, "I declare war on whoever," our gas prices shoot up, because then they look at what's going to happen, and it just seems to me we as the consumers are always the one that got rammed with that. Hey, Tar Man, sorry, I have had allergies, and so you have to bear with me. We've been thrown under the bus for years, no doubt. Hey, Lewis, we don't ship refined oil, but we do ship a lot of things. Another thing that was funny to me is back in the day when people were, and still today, they're mad at Venezuela, and they said, "Well, we'll boycott this particular gas station's oil or gasoline rather, and that affects Venezuela." Hooey, no, it doesn't. Those people grab whatever's in the tanks and the lines that they can get a hold of at the time. They put their stuff in there, and uh, they you know they draw it up into Texas and Oklahoma or wherever the refineries are, and so you can't do that. It doesn't work. Excuse me. We ship unrefined oil. Well, we also ship natural gas and stuff too. We get the good oil. We import more crude oil than we export. We refine it here in the United States. And by the way, one of the problems we have, and it's the EPA, it's the environmentalists. We haven't built new refineries in decades. We have to keep the ones that are going. They've never approved anymore. These refineries are very really old, and yeah, it comes into Galveston. It sure does. That's where they offload and pop that stuff up. One of the refineries was up in Dumas, Texas, and I've been there, and I've talked to people that are involved in the oil trade. They were actually worked with that refinery, and they actually had jobs where they went out and checked some actually oil derricks and stuff like that. They've got them set up for different things, and they have to check readings and all that. But he was telling me all the pumps and stuff that it takes. But he told me a funny story. His boy, they used to let him do like a Sunday. They used to let him like bring your family out and kind of show him around. He was not the main boss, but he was high enough up that he could do that. And so he brought his wife and son there to the refinery, and his boy, he's just a little bit. Uh, they he had a stop button. We'll say an e-stop or something like that. But they didn't actually know if it worked because they never really tested it. Well, they found out it worked. It shut the whole line down all the way to Galveston. Oh, did it hit the fan? They have to bring that up in stages. It's not, you know, it's like I talked about with the energy. You don't just flip a switch and all of a sudden all that power comes back up. The oil, and everything else, it just doesn't work that way. There's a series of pumps you got to bring those up online. It took some hours, and so family days were over. He didn't get in trouble, but they were not happy. But they said what they justified it was is it was a test of the system, and now they knew that the system worked, and said and don't ever do that again. I think that they were attached with. Oh my goodness, I don't see them around here much, but they're big out west. It's a gas chain out west that I'm thinking of. What I mean, Chick says, is the oil we ship out makes us money, but if we imported it in, it would need to be refined, and we export the refined that makes us dollars. Well, it's all it's give and take, all about money. Well, I think you're probably fairly right about that. We do a lot of different kinds of things, and so sure we do do a lot of that. Tireman says we refine about 900 million metric tons of oil years. Top refining country. Well, that taxes that system out as well. So it is that's just something that we it's a very interesting thing. And I found it interesting that we are getting about 4.5 million barrels a day from either Canada or Mexico. And so that's another 13. I think it's 13.5 million barrels a day or something that we use, or some crazy number. I can't remember what it said, but a lot. We do bring in some of that from the nations that butt up against us. So it all, what, business is business, and business is good. And there's things I'd like to see changed, but and oil producers don't want prices to get down too low, or they don't make money like they do when it's up. So they like them high prices. China refines only about 17 million in second place. Well, I can assure you they're probably working to get that up a little bit. We do get crude oil from Canada. We refine and export. Yeah, we do a lot of that. We do get a lot of it in. Uh, yeah. Well, I don't think they have a refinery, do they? I mean, they have the oil they pump out, and or get out, and then some of that comes here. So uh, there's a lot of oil on our hills, a lot of oil, including Alaska, and there continue to be a lot of oil, and we do have a lot of oil that can be got. So these are all things that, and we'll just see how the tariffs affect all of that in the days ahead. I think that this is going to get settled fairly quick. It's another one of those that there's a little saber rattling going on, but at the end of the day, I don't think that this is going to be this disaster that everybody's talking about. And I think um, that we'll see. I think that we'll see this get taken care of pretty quick. I mean, it's not good for either nation, any of the three nations, but it's much worse for them, my opinion. So, not really worried about it. Senator Schmidt defends the tariffs. He said Trump ran on this. He did. And he said that the implementation of 25% tariffs on Mexican and Canadian goods and a 10% tariff on Chinese exports to the United States, on top of tariffs we already have with them anyway. On Meet the Press, NBC News Meet the Press Sunday, that this is what he promised to do on the campaign trail, and that he proved the strategy worked during his first term. The Missouri Republicans said that Trump, quote, ran on this. This is not a surprise. He talked about getting operational control of our border. He talked about tariffs and improving our standing in the world. He's doing all those things. Schmidt insisted that the imposing of tariffs worked the first time when he was in office. We didn't see inflation. We saw wage growth, and we saw more onshoring of jobs back here to the United States. So he said that's just further added proof that the tariffs work. Is just last week that Colombia came to the table, and he used that example as well. And like I said, I think this will eventually happen. By the way, I will mention, I don't know how many of you are familiar about Mexico's PMEX or whatever they're called down there. They have the same. They have a big problem too. Is that it's the way it's set up. It's like a state-run thing or something like that, and they don't reinvest back into their dilapidated mechanisms. This has been going on for years. Shortages are common in Mexico because of breakdowns in the system, and it's not a great system. I mean, they just sometimes they just can't get it where it needs to go because they're using more and more too, and their infrastructure is not set up. It's not sustainable as it should be because they've not taken care of it. So um, I remember being down there and we rolled around. You rolled up station just like you do here and get gas, although you had to do the mathematical figuring out of how much you were paying. Um, but yeah, I studied a little bit about that while I was down there and when I came back. So we'll see. Um, so we'll see. The president is confident that the pain will be worth it. So there's some pain. He said some pain. So we'll see how far that pain goes, and we'll see how the nominations go this week. We'll also see how the investigations go on the aircraft falling out of the sky. And we'll get more information this week on ISIS being, missiles being delivered to ISIS leaders, which didn't see that one coming, but that's also putting them on notice. There were some, people that they were after. They had the opportunity. They took it. And honestly, with all that's going on, that has taken a huge backseat. It's almost was an afterthought of a news story, honestly, that about these strikes. And so I don't think a lot of people gave it a second thought. It's like, oh, okay, we're hitting ISIS again. Okay, well he did that before, and so we'll see. But it was a news bite, and then I never heard. I think I heard one other news bite about it, and that was it. And it's nothing. There's nothing. You can dig in and find some stuff about it, but it's not on the main pages because that story is not there. Of course, they've got to get on the main page of the news that Taylor Swift presents Beyonce Grammy for Best Country Album, and that she gave a subtle nod to boyfriend Travis Kelsey at the Grammys. I didn't watch. This is the news. I see this here, so I bet Chick Bay and Chick Crew there. She's probably a fan of Taylor Swift. I bet she's got every album. What do you say, Chick? You got Taylor Swift's albums? Do you? I know Tar Man doesn't have her albums. I'm not putting her down. I'm just having some fun. So I don't want to make anybody mad. I'm not putting her down. Actually, I don't like her politics or some things that she stood for, but I got to give her a lot of credit for making a heck of a lot of money. She's Chick says nope. Okay, that's fair enough. You have some songs I like, but not a collector. So if you had to say what was your Taylor Swift songs that you like, what could you name three right now that she has that you say, okay, I like them. No judging. I just want to see if you can name them. I want to see if I've even heard of them. Can the old man recognize any of these songs? Don't fail me, Chick. I'm trusting you here. I believe he can do it. Tarman's no help here. Tarman will have no Taylor Swift songs that he likes, and I'm confident in saying that. And he probably, although he might fool me, I don't think he probably even knows the name of a Taylor Swift song. And anybody in the chat, if you know a name that you like of a Taylor Swift song, as we approach Super Bowl, I'm so excited. We're in the Super Bowl week. During the news, we can have a little fun. So I'd be interested to know. Okay, she named three here. Here we go. Here we go now as the Dallas Cowboys play calls. Exile. I have not ever heard of Exile. Shake It Off, I heard a lot. The reason I heard it a lot was one of the aunts of my granddaughter played that for her, and they just tried to push that song. And Kayla liked the beat of it. She don't like it now. I have heard Shake It Off. I think I might have even seen the video of that. It popped up one day on TV. Mad Woman, I don't know that song. So, I'm not surprised. I don't listen to her. I flip around. I try to keep up with music to a certain degree and news. I keep up with a lot of odd stuff. Matter of fact, did you hear Def Leppard's? I had to double check to make sure it was theirs. Have you heard Def Leppard's rendition of "Lean on Me"? I think it was I was like, wow. Was that? I said, was that really them singing? I had to go back and double check. They recorded that for something. I can't remember what it was. I just saw a news bite on it, but I heard the song. Not bad, not bad, boys, not bad. So I think that was it. "Lean on Me," wasn't it? But anyway, um, so yeah, you have to have some Grammy stuff. And let's see, we're having a great old discussion here. We have not tapped it. Untouched Fields. Tire Man, I know, but that's the reason we reserve it. We do have quite a few. Well, we don't have as much old reserves as we have. That's the only fields that they have stopped us from drilling on. Chick. And then we go back to Taylor Swift. I like her more folksy stuff. Taylor Swift did a song with Juliet in the song Love Story. I think it was called. Interesting. Okay. That's kind of nice that you have your name in a song like that. Not obviously for you, but what about the plane that they caught? They saw the engine catch fire in Houston. Scary with all that's going on. I would be beating on the door. Stop this plane! Stop the plane! Houston, we have a problem. We're in Houston. Houston, we have a problem. Don't lift off. Plane is on fire. I mean, come on. NC Native comes striking in here with this statement. Mariah Carey's "Shake It Off" is better than Taylor Swift's. I don't know that I've heard that or not. I could have, but I can't say for sure if I've heard that or not. Houston, that was weird. I'm surprised it didn't make the news as much as Philly and DC. Well, yeah, but they didn't crash. They never got off the tarmac, I don't think. It said during takeoff. Did they actually get in the air? I've only saw little snippets of this because I've been, obviously on the side of the road for some of the day. For those that didn't hear, um, Tarman, no arguing. No, y'all just have a different opinion about the oil. Uh, Chick Crew says, "Shake it off is better." They are right. It is not an argument. I'm just looking at the info and reporting it back. Okay. So we're getting a lot of good information. At least we're having a debate about good information about that. So yeah, I mean, if you're getting on a plane today, you're like wanting to make sure that everything's okay. You always look, and making sure you always listen for a little. It's like driving your car. You listen for funny sounds, odd sounds. Is that a normal sound? What's that knocking going on? You want to make sure that. Tarmac. Tarmac says, let's see what I call my mac and cheese. Want to overcook it? Okay, that makes sense. Just kidding. Mariah Carey, Shake It Off is the best info from tonight's Southern Fried Podcast. You heard it here first. Any info about Joe Biden, it's a lie. Y'all are killing me tonight. But it's good to be here. I say that I'm loving it. I think it's funny. Here's uh, and I'm also interested in what Doge is going to find out. What receipts do they have? And are they? This could blast Washington, explode, really truly explode with everything else that's went on. If Elon gets in there and he has gotten a hold of some information, and he better watch himself too. He better have a nice security detail. I'll say that. But if he can get a hold of receipts that shows the Biden crime family and some of the things they did, oh my goodness, it's going to really blow. And who else that maybe didn't get a pardon is involved. I hope. Okay, wins a Grammy tonight. Man, I used to listen. I used to watch the Grammys a lot back in the day. I don't watch it anymore, and I'm not criticizing who do. I'm not being critical. The music changed, and it's not really anything that I really listen to anymore. But I used to watch it back in the day. I used to watch all the music award shows and stuff. I thought it was interesting. Even yes, the dreaded MTV video music award show, or video whatever they called it. I did. Um, he is still a crazy dementia president. Biden is saying he is going out. I did hear about that. I didn't see it, but I did hear it. Like I said, I was kind of on the go all afternoon, but that did pop up with a picture of her from the back, upper back, with a description that told me I didn't need to see no more. So it's a horror. That's attention seekers and getters and perversion and all those things. So yeah, it's fun to throw in a few other things. That is news, and it is news that we can cover and talk about. And y'all are the experts here because I didn't I paid two. I don't. Lewis, I'm guessing that you did look. To be able to make that statement, you had to. To be fair, NC Native says Biden was quote gone end quote a long time before he left office. That's true. Deep state goes both ways with parties. Biden is the deep state. He's clearly deeply demented though. Well, he was at the yeah. Well, I called it. I know, Lewis. I know. You had to look, but hey, you're giving me good intel. I don't need to see. So, and I don't need to see. So, but yeah. So imagine, and I saw another post out there in the news world that what if among all the other stuff that's going on, what if the Epstein list was released? What in the middle of all this? If that Epstein, the real list, all the particulars was released, whoever has that, um, Lewis needs to stay in his lane. He's done went rogue. Rogue One, Lewis, at the controls. If Lewis was, it just pops in my head. It's the way my brain works. We're still looking at news, but if Lewis was a character in Dungeons and Dragons, I know you didn't expect me to bring that out, but I'm going to throw it out there. If Lewis was a character in Dungeons and Dragons, would he be a thief or an assassin? That's the question I have. Dick, say you. And Lewis. what would be the character? What would be his character? And I'll give you extra bonus points if you could come up with a name of what that character would be. Y'all pretty quick minded. Y'all could. Heck, he may already have the character. Peter King betting on Trump in tariff battle. Okay, well we have bet on him, and we better hope that it's a good. Byron Daniels says Trump tariff risks are worth it. More U.S. aid staff are ousted. And Trump, Venezuela to accept illegals from U.S. Yay. Lots of little hidden little news items here. Just trying to pop some of the headlines here. Yeah, I talked about this morning. Hogg becoming a DNC vice chair. Senator Graham, you never know where he's flowing back and forth. He says yes on Gabbard, Patel, and RFK Jr. So after he was kind of iffy on some of that, he says he's a yes on all three. So that's good news. That's good news for that. Let's see. Dungeons and Dragons. Guns is the plot twist. I didn't see wigs and snub noses. It was on X. I didn't want to see it. He just throwed it right up there in your face, huh? Throwed it right up there, right in your face. You didn't want to see it, but there it was. So, what's the old saying? If you look twice, you know. So we'll see. Canada to take legal action against U.S. for tariffs. Well, you go right ahead, Canada. Should we play the old Canada? Hey, I love the Canadian people. I could care less about their leadership. Canada will take legal action under the relevant international bodies to challenge the 25% tariffs imposed by the United States on most Canadian goods. A senior government official said on Sunday, and this is also from Newsmax, various reports. The comments came a day after the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, boy don't you just love him, announced a wide array of retaliatory levies of 25% on U.S. goods in response to the tariffs announced on Saturday by President Donald Trump. Quote, here's Trudeau trying to act tough. We will obviously pursue the legal recourse that we believe we have through the agreements that we share with the United States. The official said, which I'm assuming that's supposed to be from him. Briefing reporters in Ottawa on condition of anonymity, of course. Trump applied a 25% tariff on all Canadian goods except energy products such as oil and gas and electricity, which do carry a duty of 10% while entering the United States. The 25% tariff will be in effect starting on Tuesday, while the energy tariff, oh Lord, everybody's going to fill up their cars tomorrow and disrupt the gas supply chain. You see it coming, don't you? The 25% tariff will be in effect starting on Tuesday, while the energy tariff will be implemented starting on February 18th. In response, Canada has imposed tariffs on 1,256 products, or 17% of all the products imported from the United States, starting on Tuesday. The products include orange juice. I didn't know that. Peanut butter. Oh, they didn't. They're going to put tariffs on the peanut butter. Wine, beer, motorcycles, cosmetics, and more. Will it add up to over $20 billion. Some of the big ones are cosmetics and body care, $2.4 billion. Appliances and other household items, $2.3 billion. And pulp and paper products, $2 billion, the official said. The Canadian government will publish another list in 3 weeks' time that will include products such as passenger vehicles and trucks, including electric vehicles, steel and aluminum products, certain fruits and vegetables, and aerospace products, the government said in a statement. The imports have a total value of $85 billion. The official said the Canadian government considered the move by Trump illegal and said it violates the trade commitments between the two countries under their free trade agreement. We always said that was a mistake to do that anyway. Free trade agreement between the two countries under their free trade agreement and under the World Trade Organization. If other legal avenues are available to us, they will be considered as well. Boy, they're talking tough up in the frozen north, right? Oh, she found it first. Don't believe anything that Lewis says. He's setting me up. No, he says. She shared the Conway West video with me. I was making dinner. A little disagreement there. At least the crude oil is cheaper than the refined, and the people will panic buy. Yeah. But there'll be a lot of panic buying. I can guarantee you that. The people will be running out and buying them all the things that they think they might need. They'll be hoarding cosmetics now. Oh, the prices are going to go up. We've got to go get some cosmetics. The excuse to go shopping, right? Monday shopping goes in on Tuesday. There you go, chick. Go shopping tomorrow. So we'll see. Tariff wars. What else is going on out here? Representative Mass says that U.S. aid should be under the State Department. So we'll see about that. He is dismantling the agencies. The CDC orders pullback of new scientific papers from its researchers. I'm not going to go into that because I don't want to get struck tonight. So let's see here. Now let's go to the other border. I'd seen this earlier. Mexican president to detail retaliatory tariffs Monday. So we got to wait till tomorrow to find out what Mexico is going to do about the retaliatory to the United States tariffs. So let's see what they have to say. Yeah, there goes my makeup collection. Okay, Claudia Sheinbaum will provide more details on Monday of the retaliatory tariffs she ordered against the United States on Monday, following the U.S. decision to slap 25% tariffs on all goods coming from Mexico. The leftist leader, I like how they said that, the leftist leader makes the announcement on Sunday. Her order to retaliate is part of what her government has called Plan B. Isn't that already taken? Plan B. So no other information because they're not going to release the goods and services that they're, that they're going to have the retaliatory strikes. So we shall see. I don't know. Will we have problems? Let's go over to the New York Post. There was an article over there that I wanted to. Oh my goodness! I almost saw that outfit. I didn't want to see that. They got that just right out there on the main page. Let's see. Oh, the whole front page of the New York Post is about the Grammys. Except, I think it is all the Grammys. Later prop bets down for how many times Travis and she will kiss after the Super Bowl. Well, they went full on about this thing on the main page of the Post. But there was an article that I was looking for, and it actually was a sports article. It is news. That is news. Did you hear about the big blockbuster trade in the NBA? Doncic to LA and Anthony Davis to Dallas. And Mark Cuban couldn't do one thing about it because he's a minority owner there, not a majority owner. And he didn't like that, I'm sure. That's massive. Doncic goes to LA, plays with LeBron. And there was a third team involved in that as well. But that's a pretty massive trade. When we think about it. I mean, there's a belief that he would not want to re-sign with the team anyway, because of the money, and they might not want to pay I think he's playing under a 1 year, $49 million. Think about that. 1 year, $49 million contract. He'll go get big money in 26, and so they're believing that he wouldn't stay with them anyway, so they went ahead. It was smart on their part to do that if you're not going to be able to sign him. So that was a massive one. I didn't see that one coming. I'll be honest with you. I was shocked when I seen that. And there's other trades that are going on as well. There's another There's another one. The Kings are trading De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs and three-team NBA blockbuster for Bulls Zach LaVine. So a lot of massive trading going on in the NBA tonight or today. So another, if you may not be in the NBA, but those are massive trades, and even I don't watch it all the time, and even I can understand that. Yes, I saw that chick. They were talking about the eeriness of it. There's photos of the kids on the DC plane for it took off. Really sad. It is sad because you see them in a happier time, obviously, than what happened. I mean, they were moments away from touchdown. Moments, just moments. Have you seen the video? I've seen every direction. Have you seen the video where it looks as though the helicopter elevated into the plane? Like it looks like it's hard to tell. It could be just the way it looks. I'm not saying that it did. It just looks at the last minute that it looked like it elevated right into it right before. Interesting. I've watched that several times. That is crazy, absolutely crazy. And there's so much about that thing that we need more answers on, and we'll just have to see. A lot of pictures of course, they finally released the name of the other co-pilot, and there's a lot of talk about her, and her family released a statement. Let's see. Army helicopter was told about passenger jet twice, with final alert coming just moments before the deadly crash. The DC, the Black Hawk, was practicing classified continuity of government missions in case of attack on U.S. A little bit more information there. Another flight was forced. We knew that at the last second to redirect 24 hours before that crash. And I was trying to think of. Seemed like there was one more, and also the video of the plane that went down in Philly. Man, did you see those videos? I mean, wow! All the people like coming outside or coming out of doorways, and that thing coming. It looked like a missile. I'm not saying it was a missile; it's a plane, but wow, I couldn't imagine that. You're talking about shaking a neighborhood, and it looks like a. I mean, to be honest, it looks like a missile strike when you look at all the burnt cars and uh, things that went on there. Just massive fireball, unbelievable. Of course, I guess it just had fuel, so uh, horrible. Yeah, and not even 40 seconds or so, and that's a dangerous time. They were talking about these systems they have, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the system that they have to detect if there's others in the area. They don't work below, what is it, 1,000 feet, because of all the landscape or whatever it is. Maybe it's 200, whatever it is. It's so long. So they aim up and get above that threshold so that system will work as quickly as they can. Because you're in a plane, you're working on your radars and all that stuff. You can't see all the way around a plane when you have a window, but you're looking at your instrumentation, and you're hoping that everything's working the way it's supposed to, but alert you if there was something going on, and or the yeah, it did look like a war zone, Lewis. It absolutely looked like a war zone. It looked like something out of Beirut, no doubt, man. I was shocked at that when I saw that. Yeah, definitely malfunction, and it did. I mean, I'll guarantee everybody in that neighborhood, unless they just saw that it was a plane, they thought it was they probably thought it was a missile strike. I've never seen something like that in America. I'm just crazy. Da-da. Oh, poor the Modelo's is going to go up. Modelo's, sorry, the Modelo's is going to go up in price. Avocados, avocados, and the cheap stuff from Timu. All that stuff you can order, they're always giving you little deals. Um, yeah, it's going to get more expensive. Oh, that's just going to be be some mad people. Oh, here's interesting. See why Trump is digging in his heels on huge tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. This is from Chris Neal and Ryan King. President, he's digging his heels in, imposing these sweeping duties on goods from Mexico, Canada, and China on Saturday, and likely raise prices. He goes into what the backlash was instantaneous, and the retaliatory of it, obviously. And if I can get my screen to work here, which that may or may not happen, but I did hear, I have heard economists talk about this, and of course the money people. Isn't it funny now that Timo is way worse spy than TikTok. No, I agree. I absolutely agree with that statement. Absolutely agree. Oh, Northeast Philly is working class. Da, 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 da. Yeah, buy a mall during rush hour. Amazon also imports from China. Well, sure they do. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Let's see here. So, this Trump isn't backing down. Quote, this will be the golden age of America. Will there be some pain? He says, yes, maybe, and maybe not. But we will make America great again. It will be worth the price that must be paid. Trump said on Truth Social Sunday in all caps. Citing a national emergency over the failure to curb the flow of deadly drugs and illegal immigrants in the U.S., Trump declared these tariffs on these nations, along with a 10% tariff on imports from China, which we already read. We have big deficits, as you know, with all three of them. And in one case, they're sending massive amounts of fentanyl, killing hundreds of thousands of people a year with the fentanyl. And in the other two cases, they're making it possible for the poison to get in. And they show a picture of avocados. The extraordinary threat posed by illegal aliens and drugs, including deadly fentanyl, constitutes a national emergency, a White House statement said of Trump, invoking the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, or IEPA, which empowered him to enact the tariffs. The statement said Trump's, quote, bold action in imposing the trade levies, dismissed by many during the presidential race as campaign bluster, was intended to hold the nations accountable. Well, we'll see. He also suggested there was an attempt to level the playing field against the three nations with which the U.S. has a combined $450 billion trade deficit in 2023. So we'll see. And they go on with some others, but we'll see if it works out or not. The White House said this: access to the American market is a privilege. I would agree with that. While trade accounts for 67% of Canada's GDP, 73% of Mexico's GDP, and 37% of China's GDP, it accounts for only 24% of U.S. GDP. However, in 2023, the U.S. trade deficit in goods was the world's largest at over $1 trillion. So we'll see. Money people fighting. I guess that's a safer battle than the military, although it can hurt in other ways. Yes. If you know your real limit. If it's too good to be true, it might be espionage. Has anyone won anything from Timo on their free games to win stuff? I don't know that. I've only ever ordered like one order from there. And I don't think I got anything free. I got some discounts. And don't play those bingo and other games for money. They steal your info. I think it all gets stolen from us online. I really do. Everybody, all the little bots, everything's talking, and it's just taking their info and and pouring it into some database somewhere. So yeah. So that's kind of a look around some of the news. That's the biggest things. There's a sign "Buy Canadian" instead. They had American whiskey pitcher, and somebody put a sign there "Buy Canadian" instead. Oh, I always thought the best import from Canada was Rush. The rock band Rush. Oh, some of those things I'm sure that I didn't know. Let's see here. Temu is China's TikTok for the Amazon crowd. Oh, it's big. Hey, my wife's ordered some stuff there, but we did almost get in trouble once. We had some doubt. Well, they had charged extra, but we got it back. I mean, there was a hack. You got to be careful. You got to be careful. Well, you know what? Groundhog is news. Well, I'm going to say that, because, I wouldn't use Timo, and I don't. Let me just say, I know that the fleecing of America about the groundhog has occurred yet again. That he's seen his shadow. That prognosticators of all prognosticators feel from up in Punxsutawney Phil. But as we discovered the other night, Phil is 17th in the nation among those that have been doing it for 20 years, only 17th in the nation. He's only accurate 35% of the time. So what does he know? What does he know? We'll see. What did General Beauregard have to say down in Georgia? Or what did Chuck, what is his name, up in New York? What did he have to say? They may have all agreed. I really didn't see those. I need to look them up. Pucks and I had fun with it. Hey, look, it's a tradition. I got nothing against him. I'm just having fun. But I am more Southern, so and I am in Georgia, so I'm going to go with General Beauregard. Um, oh, the best thing about Ground Phil is the movie. That's the best thing. That movie is great. Groundhog Day. That's the best thing about it. If I was there and it was going on, I guess I would take part in the festivities because I've never been, and I mean I've been to the city, but it wasn't that time. You probably can't hardly get in that little town when it is time. But it would have been a great day today. The weather's been great, so it would have been or yesterday, whenever it was they did that. I think it was yesterday, wasn't it? But I would be interested in doing it. It's a cute little town. And I didn't have time to do a lot of shopping. I was staying about 30 miles away. We just drove up in between church services and looked around some. And my wife was very tired from the journey. So we didn't get out and walk around because she was really sleeping about the whole trip up there and back. So that gave her time to kind of catch up on some sleep. And I don't blame her. So I was going to look and see. Let's see what Beauregard. This was 14 hours ago. Let's see. He made his annual prediction at 7:30 a.m. from his mansion at Dulcet Trails Nature Center in Jackson, Georgia. And yes, he saw his shadow, which his handlers say indicates that we'll have 6 more weeks of winter. This is his 44th year of predicting the weather. So there you go. He has an accuracy rate of 80%, while Puxatawny Phil is only accurate at 35% of the time. The general's previous home was a Yellow River Wildlife Sanctuary in Gwinnett County, but it closed in 2017. He relocated to Jackson. It opened at 6 a.m., and Bo's prediction happened during a sunrise ceremony that began at 7:30 a.m. So they both agreed. So maybe Puxatawny was stealing from General Beauregard. You know, hey, flip a coin. You can. I mean, ain't that bad? He's 35%. You can be right. You should be right. Around 50% at least. I mean, you got a good shot at it. But oh, what did Chuck say? That his name, Chuck. Let's see what Chuck. That's what that Staten Island Chuck. What did he say? They differ. Oh, did he come out different? 12 hours ago. Groundhog Chuck has predicted an early spring this Groundhog Day after Phil and General Beauregard, and there's many others. We should do this next year. We'll have to put on. I'm going to have to put a marker down. We're gonna have to have some fun with this next year. We'll get the biggest ones, and certainly those, but there's some other ones, and we'll have some fun on this. Let's see. After he see a shadow of Puxatawny Phil predicted 6 more weeks of winter, but Staten Island Chuck, a historically more accurate groundhog, which is true. They say he's the best, said spring is coming soon. When Staten Island Chuck differs from Phil, you may want to hedge your bets on New York City's woodchuck. The Staten Island Zoo said Chuck has an 85% accuracy rate, which is a lot higher than any other groundhogs down in Pennsylvania. A little slamming there from the New Yorkers. Phil has predicted a longer winter far more often than an early spring, and one effort to track his accuracy concluded he was right less than half the time. The annual ritual goes back more than a century in western Pennsylvania, with far older roots in European folklore, but it took Bill Murray's 93 Groundhog Day movie to transform the event into what it is today, with tens of thousands of revelers at the scene and imitators scattered around the United States and beyond. So we'll see. You closed your groundhog eyes at daylight, you said. So, yes, Stan Allen. Chuck is in the Senate. Yeah, he's in the Senate. Yeah. Yeah, well, Rob will have a longer winter. That's what, we're going to sell him. That's what you get. Regular winter or nuclear winter. Ooh, that's an interesting thought right there. Yeah, he is closer to Rob, and he did see. We'll have to talk about that in the morning, certainly. Oh, those are funny. It's fun to have some fun. I mean, But next year we're gonna have to have. We're gonna wait. We're gonna do this event a little bit. We didn't really get into it. We talked about it, but because I wanted some more info, I'd like to have at least 10 of them from around the country, and we'll see who comes out right and who's wrong. So we'll see. Me and Rob will have to disagree. I'm sure Rob will. He can't steal Beauregard from me. I'll have to make it. I'm going to tell him he's probably got something there in Colquitt, as he says, Colquitt, Colquitt. What would they call it? He can't use Chuck. We'll have to come up with a mythical Southern fried groundhog. We're going to have to come up. So y'all can help us with this. Come up with a Southern fried hound dog, groundhog, not hound dog, groundhog, and what would his name be? Rob. Rutabaga Rob. That sounds like the groundhog name for me. What do you say, chick? Might be more snow than Coakley. They played music and fireworks. That groundhog was probably annoyed just saying, well, yeah, I'm sure. He's probably used to it now. It's like the deer in the battlefield where I'm at. They don't even pay attention to the cars anymore. It's like, they get annoyed that cars are coming through, but they're there. It doesn't bother them. They're just walking around. Rutabaga Rock. I think we're gonna have to call that the rutabaga, rutabaga something. Yeah, we're gonna have to come up with that. It's gonna be a groundhog, a mythical groundhog, and we're gonna check in with our mythical ground. We don't have one, but we'll get a box and we'll check in. You made BLTs for dinner. Awesome. Hey, wait a minute. I thought Lewis was fixing dinner. Something's not right in the state of Ohio because I thought you said he was making dinner. Our groundhog will be better than the field. You dang Skippy. He's going to be right more than 35% of the time. You better believe it. We're gonna have this. I'm gonna get with Rob about it in the morning. We're gonna have this. This is definitely something that I want to be involved with. I would be annoyed if someone drugged me outside in the morning on the second. I thought Lewis was there because he said that you showed him the picture. So I'm mistaken. Is he creating meals elsewhere and you're creating your own? You see, I never know. Sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. So I thought that he was there. Well, I know you live alone, but he's there. I mean, how many times have I seen him on camera? Rooter, Rob is. Rooter, Rob is plum pure. Roto Rooter. I seen a Rooter truck today too. They're kind of a play off another Roto Rooter. It was Rooter, just Rooter. Oh man. My groundhog will be made into sandwiches. Oh, all the shame of it all. Yeah. Roto Rooter. Explain mincemeat pie. Yes, I'm here. She did the bacon, but just, oh, see now? See? You're playing games, chick, crew. Playing games. See, I listened. I did pay attention. Sometimes I see chats and I'm busy talking, but I did pay attention to that you did say that. So when we were talking about the Kanye West ordeal, now I wish they would just, it would be funny if like the people would just run up and throw some like coats on her or something, right as they're about to get the. Oh, I wanted to tell you, the red carpet. I don't know if it still is, but some of the red carpets like that, uh, we've actually made that. My company's actually made that, and I know now how to tell. I'd have to see it when they're rolling it out. I now know how to spot whether we made the red carpet or not. I didn't know that till just the other day. We were having a discussion about that. Did you ever know that, Tire Man? Did you ever know that? I didn't know that. Um, so there is a way to tell what would be, because you can tell from the backing. You can tell that. So anyway, I was curious, but if you don't see it rolled out, you probably couldn't tell. I doubt you could. So, and actually, it's not a high dollar carpet. People walking on it. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's not like it's going in forever. It's just rolled out. So it's not a high dollar thing. The red carpet is not high dollar, but its use is only for the time that they're slinking across the red carpet, looking, throwing their little profile shots out at the media, acting like they don't want to be interviewed or take pictures taken of them, and but yet they do. I worked in a dye house many years ago, dyeing carpet. Yeah, that's a fun work, right? Not get that dye all over you. Yeah, don't forget about our morning show in the morning. For those that be up, probably most of you will not. You're not owls. But if you're up and you don't sleep good, 6 a.m., and Monday morning, Rob and Dave back together again. And then tomorrow night, Mama said you better tune in and watch. And I do have a theme. I think we may have guests, but may not. I'm thinking it's tomorrow. I'm going to find out. I may be wrong on that. I haven't looked at the calendar. That could be Tuesday. So we will see. But if not, I have a theme that I want to talk about that hit me earlier today. Yeah, Tarman, I'll see you later. I'm fixing to sign off. Appreciate everybody being in here. Bless your hearts. I hope you had a great Sunday. I hope you have a great week. I appreciate you all and your support. Our numbers just continue to go up, and we're so very thankful for all the followers. And we are constantly trying to improve our programming and dig in and do some things. We're working on this new studio, and we've got some things left to do here, but we're going to get there. Things this week even. So I now can glance at the news in my studio. I finally got the TV up, and that's will come in handy for me at times when there's big events going on. It's a big week, Super Bowl week. I'm going to be talking about sports this week, and don't forget, we have a new show for those that you may not care, but for those that would kind of like to watch. Yeah, it's going to be 70 tomorrow, man. Absolutely beautiful. But we're going to have the Southern Fried Racing Hour. We're going to talk about our first one will be right before the Daytona 500, which will be coming up. So we got to figure that out this week, and we're gonna have start that and talk racing every week. I've got a friend that's coming in the studio live in this studio, and it'll be about an hour long, and we'll talk racing. We'll go through the drivers and kind of get set for the race, and kind of get everything back on square, get everybody up to date on who's what, when, where, and how, and be ready for the Twin 125s and all that stuff. I've always loved the Daytona 500. I may not like some of the things that NASCAR has done, but I go back way back. I mean, Tarman, he's old like me. He's older than me, I think, but um, I go back to the early days of Richard Petty and Buddy Baker and Kel Yarborough and Bobby Allison. Those are great memories for me. I really, really loved NASCAR. The big Mopar, boy, I miss that. Those were fun times, and so I've always had an affinity for it. I do. I like racing, and I try to watch as much of it as I can. I can't always, but this is going to be fun. And my co-host for the show is a guy that I work with, and he's excited about it, and that's fun. I mean, he wanted to come. I didn't invite him in. It just happened. It was one of those great podcast things that happens, and he was like just really excited about this, and I think it'll be fun. It's fun to have somebody that likes racing. He's I forget who his driver is, one of the better ones. So he likes a winner. I don't blame him. But what is his name? I went blank. But I don't know if he's watching tonight. But hey, I'm looking forward to it too, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll cut up and go on. Sponsored by the Cornbread Nation. Me and Rob thought that that certainly was a great tie-in to Cornbread, was the racing hour. So Hey, have a great. My cat's tried to steal my bacon tonight. Well, you got to tell the. I got to say that. By the way, Rob's not here, so I'm gonna. This is great. I don't know. Everybody wasn't in there, but it was so funny the night when Chuckers just bit the tar out of Rob. I have to say it. I hate he got bit, but it was so funny. If y'all saw that moment, oh my gosh, I like to fell out of my chair laughing because he is that cat had been sort of giving him glancing blows, and he'd say, "That darn cat about gave me." He does his Hank Hill voice. About gave me a butt, you know. And he kept coming on the set, and then that night when he lit into him, that was he got him, man. He got him hard. I've got to go back. I've got to go back and clip that. I'm trying to remember what show that happened in. It's only been like a couple of weeks ago. I'm gonna. It's one of the night shows. I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna clip that out. I'm gonna put that out as a clip. And one last thing, I will say is I only did it as a hoot. I used AI from TikTok. They did this aging AI. I don't know if you saw this. And I was just goofing around. I took a picture of me and it aged me. I didn't like the result. It put me in a white t shirt, which I never walk around with a white t shirt on. And I put that out on TikTok just as a really a funny, like, look what that goofy AI did to me. I said I look like a parolee, an aging parolee from state prison or something. And that thing has gotten over 1,000 views. I re- I just did it as a hoot. I was just a lark, like put it out there, laughing at myself, and it has got more attention than anything. And I am thrilled for the and as we've had it for a while, the videos of the. I don't think I've put it on Facebook yet, but the little two little quick videos I did with the church. I didn't go there intending to go to that church, but got that, and we've just been busy with everything else. I finally got those up and out, and it was right before Christmas, and we had it was actually might have been November, might have been before Thanksgiving. It was right around that time, but they were actually putting their Christmas tree up so it was right around that time, right after Thanksgiving, and I think it was that very week. And anyway, lots of people have loved that video about their blessing box in front of their church. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. Uh, I will. I will. I don't know if we've got that linked on the channel, Chick. I will send that to you. But yeah, and it's very active, very very active. But I'll send that to you. So um, I'll just pop that in an email or something. So all right. Well, I'm gonna get off of here too. I think I'm gonna go get a good night's rest. I got a few little things left to do. Get ready for the morning show, and we'll see you in the morning. And hopefully, or we'll see you tomorrow or this week, sometime in one of the shows. And we'll see what. Hey, good night to you. We'll see what happens with the tariffs. We'll see what the Monday news brings. Lots of. This is going to be a full week here. There's going to be a lot of news about the crashes, a lot of news about the tariffs, and some other things that are going on as well. I will say, do pray for Rob and Cowboy Cook and their health, and let's pray for those hostages that were released. The trauma is incredible, incredible on those people. It's so sad. Let's pray for peace in the Middle East, and let's pray for our president, and also the confirmation hearings will be a big part of the news cycle going this week, and I'm going to pay really close attention to these this week. So have a great night. Yeah, tell Rob I said hello, and Lewis did too. I will tell him in the morning. I will tell him. He's had family in. I don't know if you saw our Friday night show. It was fun to meet. I met her once before online, I think, but his sister and brother-in-law, and they were who had a lot of fun with them, and so he's been busy with them. I'm not sure how long they were staying, but so he's been busy. I've not even talked to him. I sent him a note, a good news note. Haven't heard back. I think he sent me a video of something on Saturday, and then Cook I have not heard from at all. So y'all pray for him, just making sure he's okay. But yeah, you missed it. Yeah, well, I know we've all been busy, but that was a good show. We had a lot of fun with that, and we brought up Steve on his show, and Rob ran his mouth a little bit. By the way, I got a note. I am going to say this before I go. Steve at Half Pine Forge sent me a little email today about that video Friday nights because we pulled his first live, up into our show. And Rob, but you can't hear it when you do it like that. You can see it, but you can't hear it. But we could hear him in our earpieces and everything. And Rob downloaded Rumble just so he could follow along and finally get in there and chat. But the chat messed up on Steve's end. He got lagged. He couldn't see the chat, so it hung up. So he never saw that. And I told him, I said, "Yeah, Rob's over here talking smack." And and so today, he saw a little bit of it when he got offline, not much. But today he went back and he replayed that, and he sent me a message. He said, "Boy, Rob was hard in the smackdown." What? Yeah, I said, "Yeah." I said, he got bragging. He was showing off in front of his family rather, and you were the opposite of that. I told him, I said, "Rob, you better watch out. Paybacks are hard." So we'll see a little good natured fun between us and Steve at Half Pine Forge. The Celtic blacksmith he is when he comes in. He did his first live. It was fun though. And matter of fact, tomorrow I have two things that's coming in from him, and I've already got him another little small order. My wife wants to order something for a friend of ours, and so I've got another order I'm going to put in. So we're giving him a little business. But go over to his Rumble channel, give him a follow, Half Pine Forge and Half Pine Forge Live. He's also on X. I think he might have a Facebook account, but I don't know how much he keeps that up. But X is really active for him, and Rumble. So anyway, and Killer Carl, another guy that we're kind of, became friends with online. So give them a follow too. Hey, have a great night. God bless. It's good to have you here. Thank you for your support of the Southern Fried Podcast. Let's enjoy that 70-degree. Well, depending on where you are, it might not be that. But for us, the 70 degrees tomorrow. Rain will be coming in, but let's enjoy a great day. I'll be back at work. And I'm actually going to be training. We're stretched a little thin right now, so I'm actually going to be doing some training tomorrow. And then I've got 2 classes to be in on Tuesday and Wednesday. Going to be a really busy week at work, but that's good. It makes the days go by, and that's quicker. I can get back to podcast. So, and an update to the studio as well. We'll have more news about that. Take care. God bless, and salute, as we say here at the Southern Fried. Take care.
Well, once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast Show.